one, but how many?
So I think there's like 36 over there. Hi everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Adesuwa. Today I have with me Gretchen Olivares, did I say it right? From Aly Am Paperie, also our Vice President for our San Antonio chapter, and I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We were just talking about butter before we got on here.
Because you're so sweet.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to have you today. I'm really excited about this. Today was one of those busy mom days, and this is going to be a really great meal for busy moms running around who need a quick thing to cook for dinner. And then also, I just think you have a very fascinating story, and you do a lot for everyone in the community. Gretchen helps all of us out in more ways than one with some solid advice and also really pretty things that she makes. So I think it's very fitting to have you here. I'm happy you decided to grace us with your presence.
Thank you.
And jump on board. So why don't we, what I like to do at the beginning is just tell everybody kind of what we're cooking for the day, and then we'll kind of get into your story. So what do we have going on?
We have chili.
I'm going to use the Roman camera. Oh, I think it's plugged. I think it's stuck. Oh, I got it. Let's see. Let's see how I can get this working. Well, actually, maybe I'll come around. You go. You tell us about what we got, and I'm live.
There you go. You are looking around.
Are y'all on the roller coaster? You ready? I'm ready. I'm not ready.
There you go.
There we go. So go ahead, tell us what we're making today.
We are making chili, and I tried to make a chili that is a little bit more versatile for working moms so that we can use it in several different ways. It has a consistency where it's almost like the school chili gravy that goes on enchiladas, so that it's easier to mix and do things. The seasonings that you have in regular chili are pretty close to that, so it lends well to being able to use in all kinds of other dishes as well. So if you make something on Sunday and a really big pot of it, you can freeze it in different portions and use it all week long or for the next couple weeks.
Perfect. I'm just gonna switch this back for you to our main camera. So why don't you just kind of tell us, y'all are at my house and everybody's calling me because I'm that famous, okay? I'm famous to the world too. So tell us what we're gonna kind of get, what the steps are. I'm excited for this chili.
So I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in first so we can sweat the onions and garlic while she goes to answer her phone because she's so important. So got onions, got garlic. We like a lot of garlic, so I put a lot in. Now I'm feeling it. And now that is hot, we'll just go ahead and throw in 2 pounds of ground beef. You can use whatever you want. I like the extra lean stuff. It's still gonna have some fat in it, but it's not gonna have that much, so I don't feel the need to drain it. So we have got 2 of those. And like I said, in order to make it more versatile, I like to really chop it up and make it little bitty chunks of meat instead of the really big chunks, so that it's kind of part of it instead of you being able to see where it's at.
So when we were talking about this dish, you were telling me this was one of the first things that you taught your girls to do.
Kind of. So it was actually something that we called stuffable. And stuffable, so we were trying to find ways for the girls to start cooking and eat what we were eating because they're extremely picky, and there are 2 different realms when it comes to food. One eats everything coated in ketchup and mayonnaise and everything that you can possibly think of, and the other one has to have absolutely everything all natural, no cooked veggies, everything has to be raw, no dips or anything on it whatsoever. So we had to figure out a way to get them more invested in cooking. And one of the things that we found whenever I took them once on a shopping trip with me was that they got really excited, let's move over here for a second, about these little bitty Tostito bowls. And we were having taco salad and they wanted these, so I said yes, because every now and then you're a mom and you give in. And so we took these and they ate all of their taco salad that night because they were able to sit there and stuff it and then put it in. And so then as they started asking for that more and more, that's when I started showing them how to brown the ground beef and go through the process of making your taco salad. And then it went from chili to everything else to the point where by the time they were in middle school, we had them going online. And typically I would go through my recipe book, but they went on Instagram and would find recipes. And when they were at the age when they could drive, we would give them money in the morning. They'd go to H-E-B in the afternoon. They'd buy everything on their recipe. They'd come home. They'd cook dinner. And then we would show up and be able to eat. And that was so awesome.
That's wonderful. That's a win.
Yeah, totally. Well, fast forward, as they got into college, one of them didn't really have a college roommate. She kind of did, but not really. So she was always able to cook for herself, which was really great. But the little one, who's always had college roommates with her, she's lived in a house of 4 girls, was the only one who really knew how to do all the cooking, knew what all the gadgets were for and stuff. And so I was, that was a proud mama moment whenever I sent her to college this year or last year with this, which of course parents know that this is a lime squeezer. And her friends were like, we don't know what that is. What does that do?
Oh.
So please, my other thing was the girls didn't know how to use this. Mine did. The other ones in her house did not know how to use a can opener. Biggest thing you can do when you send your kids off to college, when you have them in high school, is teach them how to use the little gadgets that are going to be time savers for them and stuff. One of the girls did not have a clue how to open up anything, and Amber tried to show her a couple of times and it still didn't work. But anyway, she had to go to the electric can opener because she didn't know how to use this.
Interesting.
So it's just a really great thing if you teach them along the way, because then they'll be that kid later on that actually knows how to do all the cooking. So Amber does all the grilling for all of her friends, including the guy friends, because several of the guy friends don't know how to cook either. So yeah, that's the one really good thing that I did that I'm proud of that we did when they were growing up, is teaching them how to do their own cooking and find their own recipes and figure out what's the cheapest thing at H-E-B to go buy and stuff, and what's the quality stuff versus you can buy the H-E-B brand, the generic stuff. So that's my biggest tip today, is doing recipes that are versatile like the chili, and teaching the kids how to cook so they get so invested in it that they want to do it, and then they grow up to be well-rounded adults.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds great. So I'm excited for this. Kiara cooks, of course, all the time, and now
Obviously.
she's into. I don't know why she cooks all the time. I went to her to Melting Pot, her favorite restaurant, and she never eats the meats, but she was like, I like to get the griddle because the lobster on the grill tastes way better. So she's like, I'll cook all your meat for you. I'm praying in my head, I'm like, please don't overcook my steaks because I only eat medium rare, and she did pretty good.
Awesome.
So
I actually thought she was going to be here tonight helping us.
Oh, Willie, she's back. So my best friend flew in today to surprise us from New York. We went to school together at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris, and he always said, most kids who go to culinary school, just so you know, parents, when you send your kids to culinary school thinking they're going to be great, they're not, because most culinary schools let their children use equipment, but our culinary school, we had to do everything by hand. So he always jokes with me saying that Cordon Bleu prepared us for war, because literally we don't know how to use, like I literally, like now I broke her equipment, so now I'm literally like at work and I'm like, oh, this is like a nice mixer, like what does this mixer do? My boss is like, how do you not know this? And I'm like, I made brioche by hand. Sorry, I made buttercream by hand. So he flew in today, so they're hanging out. They went to Whataburger today.
Did they bring us back any fries?
They might.
I hope so.
That's who was calling me because they're stuck at the gate. So, okay, so tell me about like yourself and how you got into the industry, and like how did you get here?
Well, I come from a family of small business owners. My dad has owned his own air conditioning business. My mom and dad has owned their own air conditioning business since I was about 4 or 5. And so that's the life that I've known. And when the kids were little, Amber was, I want to say 2 or 3, and Alyssa was about kindergarten, 1st grade. We were trying to find something that I could do to help bring in money, but still be able to control my own time. Mm-hmm. And so we happened to come across, we started in real estate, bought a piece of land, decided that's too much for the little kids. And not that this was any better, but
but it's yours.
But yeah, we stumbled upon a business that was literally going out of business. He was months away from going out of business. We made him an offer. At first he said no, and then within about 5 or 10 days of closing his doors, he came back and said, okay, by December 1st of 2006, you have to take over. So we did an asset-only purchase, which was pretty cool, except that we didn't have cash because we were young parents. Mm-hmm. And so we put everything on credit cards. That was a lesson learned. But at the same time, banks wouldn't talk to us because we were brand new. And so if you didn't have an existing business, they weren't really going to talk to you and give you any money. So fast forward, we have built that business, which was all wholesale packaging. So I know everything about your bags and tissues and boxes and all that kind of stuff.
I can attest to that.
And the person that we bought it from had a small little Carlson craft book. If anyone who knows invitations knows, that's the cookie cutter vendor out there. And so we started with that, and the more and more we did it, the more and more people asked for us to do more custom stuff. Fast forward, the only thing we do now is custom invitations. We don't do any of the wholesale packaging anymore, except for certain people.
Except for me.
And yeah, so now that's my expertise, and that's what I know and do best, and that's what I love, because I have a passion for helping my clients of any kind of relationship status mix to be able to announce their wedding to everyone that they feel closest and want to and care most about being there, be able to announce that special day and get everyone there and just have the best day of their life.
That's wonderful. So what's like the coolest invitation you've ever? I have my vote. I have two that I can think of that I like my favorite. No, I'm not going to tell you. What are your favorite? What are your two favorite invitations that you've made so far?
I mean, honestly, mine are the classic going to stand the test of time kind, where it's just a beautiful white stationery on really thick, nice cardstock, black, elegant writing, names and script, the rest of it in a nice, beautiful block that matches its, that complements it. It just simple and elegant is what I really like.
Yeah. My favorite one, my favorite one that you made, honestly, was that cigar box one we got for Antonian Awards. And my second favorite was the airline ticket. Like, this sucker, guys, it was an airline ticket. Like, it had the barcode, it had my seating number, it had all the detail. It was an airline ticket, and in my mind, I was like, okay, I've seen cool things. Kiara does really big birthdays for Kiara every year.
Yes, you do.
We've done some very cool invitations over time. I have 3 in my mind that I could think of, but I mean, I saw that and I was like, okay. So I immediately switched all my invitations over to Gretchen, because I was like, this is so cool. Like, I think that's what I respect about you a lot, is that you're so creative. How do you, like, what's the process, I guess, for you when you're figuring out these really crazy themes and things to put together?
First, I like to sit down with the clients and I ask them to please send in anything that has caught their eye, that inspires them. Even if it's just like one little element that they like from something, if they'll send that in, then I take all of these different elements and pull it together to create a custom invitation just for them. That is what I like to do best, because that is all of their loves that they have found from all these invitations pulled into one that's created just for them. If I can find out more history, like they're a Spurs fan, or like one that I did just recently for Amber's big sister from swim team, is she's marrying a baseball player. So I put little bitty baseballs here and there that said Team Myers
cute.
2021. So that's coming up. So, if I can find those little things about them, I will add little hints of it where I can. Of course, they get to see it ahead of time and make sure that they are loving that. And if they're not, that's fine. I can take it out. But I like to put as much into it as I possibly can. That's the character of all of their clients, of this couple. So that when the guests get it, when they see it in the mail, all they want to do is think, wow, this looks so awesome. I can't wait to tear in this. And then when they see it, they're like, oh my God, I have to book my nails. I have to go out and find a new outfit, because this wedding is going to be so awesome.
I think like something I always, so Gretchen, full disclosure, I go to Gretchen's store to do my cake tastings, and I hear her tell her clients, sometimes I'm there when she's doing her consultations as well, and I hear you always tell the clients, like, your invitation sets the standard for your wedding. And I think that people, especially like for me too, with cakes, like people are like, oh, I just want to, like, we don't like cake, we're just going to have a small cake and put it in the corner. But I think with you're like, you have to, like, you don't want to just cheap out on your invitations, because it's going to really set the tone for your event.
It definitely does. I try to sit with clients, especially when I have people that come in, and the one thing that I hear a lot, which rubs me the wrong way a little bit, is, well, they're just going to throw it in the trash anyway. So the first thing that I tell them is, not so fast. You would be surprised how many people come in and bring an invitation that really inspired them, that they're like, I want something like this, but unique to me. And so you would be surprised how many people actually keep it. Second of all, it's a historical document. So this is going to go next to your photos and is going to stand the test of time. Plus, lots of people who need to be able to gain a way into the country to come to your event are going to be able to use this invitation as an official document to say why they need to come here. So that's another reason that you want a very nice, well-curated invitation, because otherwise, if it looks like something that you picked up a box from Michael's or something, you're going to have people questioning whether this is a legit event or not. The third thing is, and the biggest thing is, it is not about what the invitation is going to do after the wedding. It is going to be what it does to get the people excited to be there and give them all the details they need to be able to attend, hopefully on time, and not blow your budget by having too many people there, because I've been able to do a really great job working out all those details with you and figuring out the correct wording for your event to be able to get them there and hopefully get them to RSVP. So I give lots of great ideas of how to get that done. So whenever they say that, I say it's the same thing as your cake and your flowers. You're not worried about what the cake and flowers are going to do afterwards, because we all know where that's going.
That's true.
So it's not about that. It's about the tone that's going to set for the entire day. Plus, this is the first thing that people are experiencing about a wedding. So if this is their very first experience about your wedding and they're like, it kind of feels like a backyard kind of thing, guess what? They're not dressing up and you're having a formal, and now you're like, oh my God, they came in jeans. Well, that's the impression you gave them. So can you blame them? That's what you gave them. But if you make sure that it gives the right vibe and they're really excited to come, then you're going to get what you put your time into.
That's interesting too. And you do so much more than just invitations. You do signage, and I really like also in your consultations that you, honestly, in my opinion, have as much knowledge, if not more knowledge, than wedding planner, which I think is a credit to ILEA as well, that pushes us to all be well-rounded in each other's industries. But I tell people all the time, I'm like, she's great because she'll sit down with you and she'll be able to help you. You're like me, like I always tell people I'm the bride, I stole it from Dawn. But I'm the bridesmaid you didn't know you had or that you needed. So like the bridesmaid you always wanted. So, like you tell them all the details that go into their wedding and like the signage they're going to need and kind of everything. And I like how everything's so cohesive and matches and makes sense on your events. Yeah. So what's the process for that?
Well, so, one of the things that I do, and I learned this a long time ago, is I give them a small discount for all of the day of stuff so that we can just look at doing the invitations and getting those out the mail, out the door, and concentrate on all the details of that, because they come in with the laundry list of everything they want to do for the entire wedding, and when they do that, then they don't concentrate on all these little details to make this invitation perfect. So I give them a small discount and say we can talk about all the fun stuff later, and so we do. So whenever I sit down with them after these are in the mail, we go over all those fun details. And I have been told a couple of times by my husband that I should charge a bigger consultation fee that is non-refundable, or that I should become a planner myself, because I sit down with them for so long that it's kind of like a counseling session sometimes. But I don't, because I absolutely love my wedding planners. And I'm not just saying that because the camera's on. Any of my wedding planners who have worked with me know that I truly appreciate when a client comes in with a wedding planner on their team. And if they don't,
I recommend
and if
one.
they don't, I highly suggest it. And whenever they start to go, what are they going to do for me? I will always tell the story of my two quinceañeras. So store name, Aly Am Paperie.
Hold on, before you get there, tell people what we put in the pot. I showed you on the camera. We didn't tell them what was in there.
We put in chili powder, cumin, red pepper, paprika, or oregano.
Olivares.
Oregano.
Okay. So all of our spices, and the recipe, if it's not posted, it will be posted on social media for you guys to follow.
Yeah, because I didn't figure out until yesterday what I really wanted to do. So
yeah, it's fine though. We're like that, but it's gonna be excellent. So all of our spices went in. So we browned our ground beef. We added our spices. Did we already put the onions in there too?
That was in the beginning.
Okay, so the onions
first.
So we sweated the onions first. With the garlic, added the ground beef. Now we put all of our spices. Now we're adding the beef, a little bit of the beef broth, our can of tomatoes, and what else?
We are gonna put in a nice dark beer.
Because we're in Texas Shiner.
And it's chilly, so we're going to put that in there as well as one of the liquids.
I love this episode because I'm like back here, like literally just guys like, oh, this is great. Yeah, you go ahead and you cook yourself away. Unlike Gary, I'm just joking. So the rest of you guys, I'm not cooking anywhere. So you cooking, and I'm just going to stand here and announce.
So I like beans, so I'm putting beans in. But if you don't like beans, you can leave those out. My favorite is kidney beans. Putting in the pinto beans as well, just because I feel like you should. So you can get the pinto beans with or without the jalapeno.
And when I do my chili, I normally take the juice out, but I notice with your chili, we leave the juice in. So
less of all the other stuff and leaving some of the
natural
fluids
flavor.
that already have some flavor in it. And then the last thing that I need to put in is the tomato paste.
Okay. You want a spatula?
I actually have a little one. Okay, you can use yours.
Mine's right there.
Yeah.
Let me contribute. She was so organized today. Like everything, she's like, I got it all figured out. I'm like, what bowls do we need? She's like, I got it all. I'm like, you're up in the bar for everybody. Step it up. Who's next month? Dilshan. Be ready, okay?
I do tend to like to be detailed and figure out everything ahead
She's
of time.
extra.
Well, so are my friends, so.
Huh?
So anyway, I'm giving it a quick stir. What were you asking me?
Okay, so we have all the stuff in there, and now it's just going to cook, right?
Yep.
Great.
So this is where you just let it simmer for however
So now
long.
you're going to tell us the 2 stories of the quinceañeras and why you need to have a wedding planner.
So first quinceañera, of course, I was just, new into the business and thought, I know how to do this. I can do all this. No big deal. And so I planned everything, which if you are in the industry, you kind of figure that out and stuff. Not a big deal until you get to day of. When you get to day of and you're the mom or the bride, whatever, and you're trying to have this special day and run everything and fix all of the oopses that happen along the way, you have no fun whatsoever. So when we got to the end of Alyssa's quinceañera, I was the last one to get my hair done. I hated it. It ended up looking like a football.
Like, was it like a French roll?
It was just god awful.
Like a French roll
what
with
I
a hump
told them
in the
definitely
front?
was not what they did. We were the ones who set up everything at the hall. So of course then I was hot and sweaty while I was getting my hair done. The night of, I didn't get to say hi to any of my friends because I was busy running around, filling up this and that and throwing trash and stuff like that. And so Greg got to play host for the night, but I didn't get to do any of that. And so as the mom of the quinceañera, I would have liked to have done that. And I hate the pictures from it because I don't feel like I looked good in it. Fast forward 4 years, because they're 4.5 years apart, Alyssa's quinceañera, I had someone that I knew and I hired them for at least day of coordination. I still set up everything myself. But I hired them for day of coordination and it was just total night and day. I had the day to be able to get everything done. I didn't have to set up everything. We did it at Plaza Lasea, which were super awesome because they knew it was a quinceañera and they knew that the smaller quince party and close family that came into town were all going to dinner first. So they knew we were already having dinner. So because of that, they let me bring in sandwich trays and things that the kids would eat because they're kids, they're teens. We didn't want to spend a lot of money on these teens that weren't going to actually eat good dinner.
You don't want to give them the filet mignon?
Oh shit, no.
Now we're on Cooking with Adesuwa, guys.
So because I didn't have to do all that, I was actually able to enjoy the night, dance, say hi to all of my friends, enjoy the pastries. Amber at that time was extremely involved in helping with the planning of everything. So she went to at least 2 bridal extravaganzas and found her different vendors and stuff. And one of them happened to be, because I didn't know you yet, was nothing but cakes.
I was only 5 years old.
And so she knew what we spent on Alyssa's, which Alyssa's a little on the bougie side. And she was like, Mom, I don't want to do that to you.
Alyssa's my kind of girl.
So she said, Mom, I don't want to do that to you. I really love nothing but cakes. I think we can make it look great. So we bought a little cupcake tree and bought all the little buntinis. Had 4 different flavors there. Everyone was able to have their own flavor and there was no cutting of cake or anything. It was super awesome.
Now we do pastry bars for that, guys?
Yes,
Just
we
for
do.
the record, okay?
Yes,
Don't
we
get
do.
confused, okay?
And I do push your pastry bars all the time.
She does. I have a client in my inbox right now. Thanks.
So that is really my two stories, is that the first one I did not get to enjoy anything, and the second one I thoroughly enjoyed because I gave it to a professional who was able to just take care of everything for me, and I could actually be in the moment of that day. You spend so much money on those kind of events, you want to actually remember it and love the pictures from it afterwards. So
we did. I mean, I can attest to that. Kiara's 5th birthday, we bought out a section of SeaWorld, and we did this massive party. And I didn't hire the right planner. And my best friend Alex is sitting there. We didn't talk for 6 months after, and it was just a very dramatic moment because it was a lot going on. For me, it was a lot of stress, and I think she's already outside, Alex. It was a lot of stress. And so every year thereafter, Carrie Weber with all the details, Dilshan with Dilshan Events, and some of my other planner friends will Saturday mornings hop up real early. Sonia with Aria Productions has come over and kind of come over to my parties, which are always still massive. And they always help me organize the details. I hire a photographer because I want to be a mom and I don't want to be worried about, do we have the right pictures of all my stuff that I'm putting into this party? Is all the kids getting captured? Jerry, they've given us photo booths before. Winston's come over and brought photo booths. Like, we get photo booths. We just like, that way you can enjoy the moment. I think that that's important that clients don't forget is, I mean, I have this kind of, I have a bad spending problem. I'm like your daughter. Like, after I hit a certain point, there's just, we stop counting. So
that is like Alyssa. She's like, we're gonna run it down about $100.
Everybody asks me all the time, like, how much you spend on Kiara's party? And I'm like, I don't really know. We don't add those receipts. They just kind of, we put them in the back of the wallet, and then we eventually just go in the trash because it's too far to audit. So we don't look at the prices, but I think it's, one of those things where you want peace of mind. And and the point of, I guess, what I'm trying to make is like, at that stage of the game, you just want things to look nice. And I tell people all the time, like a wedding or a quince or whatever, it's a one-in-a-lifetime thing. Like, you're not turning 15 again, and you're definitely, hopefully, not getting married again. So you need to, like, if you're going to make the investment, go ahead and invest and make it big. And like, why does this particular thing matter more than that thing? It's not about the one thing. It's about the experience.
Well, and all of the different little pieces, from the invitations to the flowers to the cake to the DJ to the photo booth, they all create the ambiance of, the overall look of it. And so if you try to cheap out, so to speak, on one thing, like the invitations,
it doesn't mesh.
It gives this off feeling where people don't understand what it is you're trying to put together. And you're spending so much time and money and emotions on putting this day together that you really want to make sure that you have that picture perfect moment and that you're totally able to enjoy the entire day because you took the time ahead of time to hire the right professionals
to make it happen,
and that will put together that look. And like you were talking to somebody the other day about, there are some of us that just work really well together, and when we all know that we're on the same team, we all lift each other up and just really make that event even that much better, because we're like, you know what, our friend such and such is doing this and we don't want to be the one that looks bad, so we're going to work extra hard to really elevate that. And that's not to say that we're not trying to elevate every event. We are. It's just when you know all of your
vendor team,
your vendor team is there, you're gonna be like, oh, I want to do this one
extra
extra thing.
Like, y'all know, Winston and I obviously did the first show. He's like my BFF. Okay, Winston Gaines and I are like partners in crime. So, but I find out Winston's at a venue. They're like, oh, we hired
Gaines
Entertainment, and I'm like, okay, cool. Then I literally on the side will like text Winston and be like, you better be DJing this wedding because I'm gonna be there and you're gonna be there. And I remember it was Morgan. You did Morgan's invitation, yes, yeah. So this was like a vendor team thing. So I go there, and I normally what we do when we drop off the cake, we go back later, we put out the pastry bar, it's a whole thing. So Carrie Weber with the planner, obviously my other best friend. She's there, all the details. So like. And they're over there pulling like the tabs out to start the little light up things. And they're like, we got Adesuwa, and I'm watching them as a vendor friend. I'm watching them and I'm like, okay, well, you've got 5 boxes of these things you got to start. So here I am waiting, because my pastry bar is like good, whatever. I don't even know if we had started it yet, but I was good. So I was like, okay, so here I am back there pulling tabs and starting stuff. Tell me why I'm on the stage throwing these things out to people, dancing on the stage because of Winston Gaines. Like, I don't know. It's just like this, I'm telling you, your vendor team matters. And I think that that's a big thing that, like ILEA, we say we're ILEA family, but I think it's also like people who are just really professional. We have our insurance, things like that. But also, I think it's just people that like really are passionate
Work
about
well
this
together.
event, about the industry. So therefore, I thrive off of her stuff. And I tell Gretchen the other day was like about my tasting kit. She was like, I think this is a better way for you to do that. And I trusted her because she has a great business, and I know that she comes from a place of love. So she'll tell me all the time, like if I'm having a problem, she'll be like, this is how you should tweak it. And I think that, that knowledge in ILEA is really important because you've been in business for how many years?
This is 15 years.
Exactly. And I've been in business for real business, like a year and a half. So I think it's really important.
You got to have those vendor friends that'll call you out on your shit, but still drink with you.
Exactly. Like we're doing right now. So tell me about where do you see things going? What do you feel like what direction is the industry heading into?
Well, I feel from all the inquiries I'm getting and stuff that couples are ready to get back out there and get married and move on with their life, and they want the biggest, best event that they can possibly afford to have. And everyone just needs to be ready, have all of their processes in place, have their equipment in place. People need to be ordering way early because lots of vendors are so far behind on stuff. And if things are having to come over from China, which some of my stuff does, laser cut stuff has to come from there. It's on a one of those containers for months. You've got to really plan that out so that you're not stuck or telling a vendor a client no, because you want to be prepared and be able to say yes and be able to make that sale. So the more you can do now, if you've got a downtime, the absolute better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for us too, is just don't delay. I think you always tell people too, this is always something interesting that you always say is I hear you in your consultations telling people, how far out should they start?
So what I say about the invitations is, as soon as they've booked their venue, whether it's venues or venue, because it's at one, the next thing they really need to do is book a wedding planner. So the wedding planner can help them build that really awesome team. If for whatever reason they're not going to go that route, then the next thing they absolutely need to do is go see their stationer. Because again, this is the first thing that's happening 2 months prior to the wedding and needs at least 2 to 6 months prior to that for us to be able to curate a really well thought out, detailed look. If they're wanting to save the dates, those are done 6 to 8 months in advance. So we need a good 2 to 4 months prior to that. And they need their photographer on board for that if they're going to do a picture or whatever. So whenever they book the venue, I would love for venues to be able to say, next thing you need to do is hire your wedding planner. You don't want to hire a wedding planner? You need to go see your stationer. I don't care what stationer it is. I just want stationer done. And right in the beginning also, because timelines are really tough and a lot of these vendors can only do 1 or 2 weddings a weekend. Photographer is your next best thing that you have to book, because of the fact that the thing that's going to last past this event is going to be the invitations and the photos. The photos actually capture everything about that, and your videographer, that live motion picture, so to speak, of your wedding is just, they're going to be able to watch this 30, 100 years from now, depending on what the technology is, and be able to feel like they were there at that day. And so if you don't have it, if you didn't spend the money on it, I mean, a picture does capture a lot and it's great, but video is just so awesome.
Video would be cool. Especially in 100 years when you can sit in a video. I just watched this movie. That's what they did. I'm sorry.
And to them, it's going to feel like us when we're looking at the black and white.
White film. You can see. I don't watch movies I don't watching movies made before 1990 because the graphics are so low, it hurts my eyes.
Well, you're missing some of the great ones in the 80s.
I've seen them, but I'm just sometimes I watch
80s movies are great.
Sometimes I watch 87, Purple Rain, because that was me in my year, and I just and George Jetson and the Flintstones versus the Jetsons. I watch that one. But that's about it, because the graphics really are so low that my eyeballs hurt, and then I can see now I can see all the fake stuff. I'm that's not even real, but that's totally catch up. You're not fooling me.
But it's kind of neat to see how back then what they had to work with.
It was real modern. It was real. I learned a fun fact about videos, not because you do videos, but just because it's a fun fact. Thomas Edison made the first video ever. Did y'all know that? Y'all didn't know that. Sonia, you didn't even know that. Thomas Edison made the first video.
She's saying she did know that.
She's lying. She's lying. What? No, it wasn't a cat video. It was the kit. No, it wasn't the kiss. It was the push-up video. Somebody go Google this right now, because I can't Google it right now because I'm in the middle of my show. But if you can Google it and let us know, that'd be wonderful right now. But I thought it was like, it wasn't a cat video, it was some two people. I watched it because I watched about that girl who's trying to do like the whole like, I can take a drop of blood and tell you what your health is for the year. And now she's going to jail, that girl. Yeah, I was watching her documentary and they talked about it. I'm knowledgeable. Cool. I watch TV while I bake. Back to you. So what else is like new? What's the new trends and invitations? Is there anything?
Well, I mean, right now it's acrylics.
You say that like, should I stir this pot?
You can stir it, but I mean, really, it just needs
I get to touch the pot, guys.
Just needs to sit because it will start cooking out some of that extra liquid.
It's not even like sticking to the bottom.
No,
that's
awesome. It'll meld together and really create
good. I'm
those
excited.
flavors.
I didn't have Whataburger, so I'm really looking forward to this dinner.
So, I mean, if you want to look at the rest of this, I did a couple different dishes where we had like chili with fideo, because that would be really good. Chili hot dogs.
What is fideo for our non-Spanish speaking friends?
Mexican noodles.
Okay.
I make them where it tastes like Mexican rice, but it's with the noodles. And I don't know what the seasoning is, but anyway. Cornbread is really great with chili. Of course, Frito pies are awesome. So I made a Frito pie here, and at the end we have chili with noodles, because some people like that as well. I actually made Greg eat that last night, and he was okay with it. I have two different kinds of Fritos on the tray here. I have the little ones and the big ones, because I like the big ones. I like to scoop my chili either with the Fritos or with crackers, whereas people like to be able to just put it in there and take a big scoop and shove it in their mouth, and I can't do that because I have a small mouth. Cornbread is also really great with it, and we did two different kinds of cheeses here. So your natural Mexican blend and then the actual queso fresco is really great as well. And for those people, where did we put that?
What do we put?
Oh, I was looking for my
I'm not an alcoholic. I put a lot of Topo Chico in my over sweet wine.
Oh, here it is.
I mean, if you know me, it's borderline, okay? But
so I love a great squeeze of lime. Let's see, we'll do it.
Which my Topo Chico came in a glass bottle, because I heard they're coming in plastic.
We will do it a little bit over the chili and noodles. But yeah, totally please teach kids how to use that, what it's for, because it is so awesome. I don't think I've ever seen
one until I came to Texas, honestly.
All of her friends were from San Antonio.
Yeah, no, I think
one was from Austin, but still.
I really don't think I saw my first, maybe Pampered Chef had one. Maybe Pampered, like a white one, and the paint used to chip off. But I have this really good one from H-E-B that was like half the price. No offense, Pampered Chef, but if you want to sponsor my show, we'll totally talk about your products all the time.
Well, I did buy a lot of H-E-B products. I do try to keep everything as local as possible whenever I'm cooking. So like the cornbread is Pioneer cornbread. Cheeses are H-E-B cheeses. Fideo is whatever that brand is, because it's the best. What is that? Q&Q?
Q&Q.
So it's really hard whenever you do a font that is hard to read. So I work with my clients about
You're learning a font lesson right now.
Yes.
That doesn't make, that looks like
Q&Q. It could be
looks like 2 and 2. 2 and 2 is what I read.
Who knows what that is? Anyway,
we don't know what that means. It's a good one.
Because it's fall, and well, we're going into fall because yesterday was the last day of summer vacation and everything.
But it's still 100 degrees outside.
Well, yes.
For today,
but we're going to pretend it's fall.
Until October 31st when it gets blistering.
That is why I wanted to do chili, because originally when we talked about this, we were going to grill, and I was going to do dino ribs, but we waited a little too long, and we're past grilling season now as far as I'm concerned. So we did chili. And to get everyone into the fall, I also brought candy corn.
Candy corn.
So some people love it, some people hate it. I don't care.
I'm on a hate it side, but that's great. Kiara loves it. She's gonna love her
she can have some.
Auntie Gretchen. So Gretchen, like back in the day, you posted something on your page. It was like, whose child calls their friend's auntie? And Joe was like, Kiara with you. She's like, oh, it's just Auntie Gretchen. I'm fine. They yell at my child. They discipline my child. It's great. It's well-rounded fun.
I do tend to nicely discipline her when she does the
She
store.
does. She's like, if you sit here.
When she sits there and puts on the 10th layer of tester perfume, I call her out on it.
You do. In a very polite way. Like in a mature mother way. Like I'm an immature mother. I'm like angry. She's like, you know you're going to smell so bad you're going to go home and take a bath, right? And she's like, oh, I don't want to take a bath. She's like, well,
You're
then
gonna
you
give your
better.
mom a headache on the way home, you know
Then
that, right?
then you better stop, right? And she's like, she's real, you're like suggestive with her behavior. But she bribes her too. Like when I have a consultation, she's like, if you sit here, but now she's so well behaved at the consultations because she's like, if you sit here, back in the day, the first couple ones, and just do you, then I'll give you a treat.
Yep. And then she can go to the kitchen and get something.
And then now she's got the drill. So now she knows she goes and sits in her little, well, now the purple chair. And like
My
does
new
her own
purple
thing.
chair that somebody loves.
No, it's my chair. I think she bought it for me. It's like my brand colors. There's nothing to do with her brand. My brand colors. I think it's my chair, but
my
whatever.
favorite color.
And we had a whole like 2-hour conversation. And where was I sitting? In my chair. While she stood, looked at me. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sits in her purple chair, and then she like so peaceful and quiet. You know. What's your favorite thing? Like why? Like what? Tell us about ILEA. Like how did you get involved in ILEA?
Well, actually, I got involved with ILEA because of Monica. Monica kept telling me about this. Monica, the real photo booth, kept telling me about this organization. Oh my gosh, you got to come. So I went a couple times with her as her little sidekick, and followed her around.
How many years ago was this? How many years ago was this?
This was 2015-16, because I joined 17. So 15 and 16, I kind of followed her around because I'm actually very introverted and don't like being on camera.
She's introverted.
And so every time I went to these events, I just followed her around because I didn't know how to go talk to anybody, and she was able to break ice for me, so I really appreciate that. And so now I'm trying to come out of my shell. But that is one of the things that ILEA has done for me, is just being around people that I've been able to find in the industry, that we have like interests, have something to talk about, and that we can become friends on these like interest levels, and then grow it deeper whenever we go out and have drinks and whatnot.
Drinks help.
It's been able to get me to open up and stuff, to be able to do things like be on a camera, on a show, because I wouldn't normally do this.
Yeah, she tried to talk herself out of this, but I was like, come on, I'm not painful. We talk all the time. We're just talking. People aren't even watching this, are they? I don't even know if people are on here. We'll watch it later. That's exciting. So what's like your biggest advice for people who join ILEA, or how do they get involved? Or
the biggest thing is, if they're in the industry and they're not part of an organization, is to go to all of the organizations. I don't care if it's ILEA, if it's NACE, if it's AHA, if it's SALA, whatever other ones are out there. Go see them, try them a couple of times, figure out which is your best fit. I know, Armando, that I'm on the board and I should be telling everyone to go to ILEA, but I truly feel that everyone needs to find that niche place where they feel most comfortable, join it, and then do some volunteering in it, so that people get to know and see them in action, instead of them just trying to explain what they do, but be able to actually see them, so that they then know, like, and trust them, that they will start referring them. Because if you are not coming to these events and you're not coming to the programs, one, you're not learning, because we give lots of great educational program, and two, out of sight, out of mind. So if you're gone too long, somebody else is going to come for your place and you are gone. And the next person coming in, whether they are brand new and only 2 months into it and you were there for 16 years, if you're not there, we're going to forget about you. Not because we want to, but it's going to be, oh yeah, you know what, this person's here in the room, go talk to them. And so it really, really matters that you show up and be there and say hi. And even for the introverts, come see me. I will help you get around the room and say hi and be able to make some friends.
so Molly Hernandez, one of our board members, actually is on the show.
Speaking of networking and
Networking, yeah. So Molly, who was on the show 3 months ago, roughly, she started a business. She kind of talked about it a little bit on the show, but she's doing Molly Quality, which is her new brand, and it's about networking and how to network. And I think it's a really cool thing, especially for new people who are coming in. ILEA has great incentives for new businesses. When you come on a discounted rate. I came in as a new business. Donna Liston brought me in. So I think that if you're interested in checking us out, September
22nd.
September 22nd, you should come on in, and
we're going to be at the Club at Garden Ridge.
And Molly from Molly Quality is going to be teaching us about how to network efficiently, how to get involved, what to see, and how to do. The other great thing that's coming up is on September 27th. This is Gretchen's baby. Actually, I'll let you talk about it.
So every month, at the last Monday of the month, we hold book club. So whether you actually read the book or not, come and join us. Because I can tell you about half the people that come don't actually read the book or only make it through halfway. But we have just incredible organic conversations that come from the beginning of that book. So we've had times when like the only person that's read it has been like
me.
No,
I read
Tammy.
one book.
Tammy with Girl Photography has been sometimes the only person that's read it. Not even I have. And she will give us a couple of really great tidbits that she liked from the book. We all walk away with that tidbit, but then we go on to this total organic conversation that just stems from that. And it is just so great. So whether you read, whether you do Audible books, whether you don't do any of them and just want to come out, it's a free thing for everybody. And it's just a great time to be able to network with people with something already as your lead, so you don't have to come up with something to talk about because you've got something to talk about. And it's just an easy way to network. So that is a really great thing. And September's book club is September 27th, and it is the Go Giver. There's like 5 or 6 of these books, but we're doing the one on business. So there you go.
And the one great thing about this is at this new amazing wine bar called Rerooted, and it's over there by Hemisphere Park. I went to that direction yesterday. There's a little easy parking garage. I was there for like 4 hours. I paid $2 for parking. So it's really simple to go to, and I definitely think it'd be fun.
So we always
to
have
check
drinks
out.
and wine, drinks and books.
Yes, it's important.
So come chill out with us, have drinks, and
I think it's like
talk.
The book club's also great just because you get more face-to-face time. I think the people that are involved in it tend to have been in the industry for a while, especially if you're a new business and you just want to get some networking. I think that's kind of how I built my relationship, probably even better with you, Sonia, was from being at that book club. We just started talking more because I had more individual one-on-one time with her. So it's a great networking opportunity.
And the nice thing about book club is even if you only get one little nugget to be able to move your business up to that next level, that is so worth the time that you took to listen to that book. And I do try to find the thinner book. Sometimes it's going to be a thicker book. And if you only get through half of that, that's okay. Or if you find the Cliff Notes or whatever it's called nowadays, that's okay too. But just doing something every month to move your business one little step up above whatever it was before, whether it's this kind of education or coming to our actual ILEA programs and gathering education from that, is so great.
Yep. And my favorite book club book was actually, do you know?
No.
Girl, Wash Your Face. I swear that book changed that book changed my life. I read like her other book and I called her after and I was like, well, I really love that book, but now I feel like crap. Like I feel like I'm not doing anything. And she's like, whoa, you're going too deep into the book. So I thought it was great.
Our next coming event after that is going to be our mixer on September 28th. That's going to be at 6 p.m. And that is going to be at Smoke downtown. So you want to come to Smoke Barbecue Sky Bar.
Very cool space, very cool location, cool to hang out in. So definitely recommend you guys check that out. And then next month on Cooking with Adesuwa, we're going to be with the Dilshan, which is amazing. He's a great planner in the industry.
He's going to totally shine me up.
Dilshan, go sit in a corner. He's just going to give me a hard time. If you want to come watch me get bullied by one of my other industry best friends, Dilshan and I literally talk, I don't even know, every day, probably about something ridiculous. So I'm excited to have him. We're going to be making a vegan, some kind of vegan like sauce, like Alfredo sauce or something like that. I don't really get it. I'm not vegan, but my mom's doing vegan for the moment, I guess. So that's cute. So you should hopefully Joyce will take the day off so you can be here for that, so you can enjoy it.
Dilshan, if you're watching, send her the recipe now.
That would help. Small strides. But Dilshan's gonna be here next month, and then I think after that I have Julie McGarrett on the docket, which is gonna be really fun.
Don't look at me, I didn't plan it, you did.
I know, I look at her because I literally talked to her about, I talked to Dilshan once a day, I talked to her about, I don't know, what do we average?
2 times a day.
2 to 3 on a normal day.
Unless I reject her call.
She doesn't reject my calls, because then she texts me, and I'm like, okay, cool, ignore your friends, it's fine. My feelings aren't hurt at all, I'm cool, I'm fine. So we talk like 2 to 3 times a day, But so I look at her because I tell her things in passing, knowing that she'll remember and I'll totally forget. But so we have Julie McGarrett. And then if you guys are interested, we're looking for someone for our January show. I'm also excited that this show has been on the air for a little bit over a year.
It has been.
We're actually going to be doing a live Cooking with Adesuwa next year. So hopefully with Tim, the girl who was on Food Network, longtime member of ILEA. So I'm really excited because she was one of the people that when I was little coming up, I looked at her and I was like, I want to know who this Tim the girl is, because I never knew who she was. She was like the ninja in the dark. Like she was like, and I'm excited to do that show with her. Probably over there. So there's a lot of exciting things. She will be
pretty awesome, and she'll probably have a much better spread than I do.
No, I think your spread's great. I mean, I loved it. I didn't have to do anything, so that was wonderful. I do want to try this chili. Can I try the chili before we go?
Absolutely.
Are there any little nuggets of like information that you feel that like we missed out on? Or anything else that you feel like we have to share? Which one
really,
should I try, that one or this one?
Well, that one's hot. This one's gotten cold already.
Okay, I want to do the hot.
I would just say, if nothing else, come out to the mixers. We just had one at Chicken and Pickle, and it was amazing. There were so many people out there, so much networking that happened. We got to meet this really awesome person from St. Mary's who's in charge of these students over there.
Chili too?
Sure.
Okay, great.
So I would say, if you do nothing else, come out to the mixers and see what we're all like when there's nothing else going on, and you can have those candid conversations. And all of us are, if we see someone standing in a corner, we're going to go pull you in and make sure that you find someone to talk to and find a person.
I think we really want to make sure everybody gets connected to who they want to get. And I think with ILEA especially, we're really big on community. I want lime. Do you want lime?
Not right now.
Okay, well, I'm going to try lime. I think that we really find it important that you're connected with everyone. So I think that's huge. So I definitely encourage you to come hang out with us. And if you're an ILEA member and would like to showcase your business on Cooking with Adesuwa, please feel free to jump in. And then starting next month, we're going to even be having sponsors, guys, because that's how big of a show we are, HGV and Food Network. We have sponsors now. So there'll be some like fun little sponsorship opportunities for businesses. And if you're an ILEA member, you get first dibs. So I'm excited to see that. I think our first sponsor is going to be Aria. Is it Aria? You're doing ours? So Aria Productions is doing next month. From our Sonia is going to be our test subject on our first month of tidbits. My mouth is watering. I'm sorry, I have to eat. This is really good. And surprisingly, I like it with the lime. This is so good, guys. I'm sorry you can't.
So add-ins that you can do with chili that make it even more amazing is going to be your cheddar cheese, your queso, chopped cilantro, chopped jalapenos. Those are things that are still in my refrigerator.
Okay, great. Thanks, Greg.
Hominy, hate hominy, so do that if you want to. Pinto beans, saltine crackers. I absolutely love.
Tell me.
These saltine crackers.
And she has like a case of them.
I do.
Like not a case, like not a box. Like it's got like literally 500 in there. I'm like, who are you shopping for?
It's the gamesa. And they come all individually wrapped, like if you're at a restaurant, which is so cool. So like they're what's it called? COVID friendly, because everyone can get their own little 6 crackers. Those are my favorite crackers in the world.
Where do you buy them from?
HEB. Got it at HEB. So they stay well. They stay for a long time because they're all individually packaged. So it's not like you open up a pack and the whole damn thing goes bad because you've opened up one.
What my midnight guilty pleasure is? Saltine crackers. I'll take a pack of saltine crackers and go get back in bed.
Sometimes my whole lunch is that and a piece of cheese because it's all I have time for, and I remember that I have to eat something really quick, and that's what I do. So yeah, that's sometimes my lunch. Funny story that nobody knows, not even Greg.
Dirty little secret, guys. Welcome to Cooking with Adesuwa.
Is the regional manager is one of my ex-boyfriends, or he was. He just retired.
Greg, that's why she loves them so much. She used to get them for free every day. He used to come by the shop when you weren't there and drop off a box.
That was in high school, and he wasn't even at the company yet. But anyway, yeah, he was. He was definitely a ladies' man. Somebody I would never have married because he was too.
He's not you, Greg.
No.
Well, these are delicious. Yeah, these are like my guilty little pleasures. I used to eat saltine crackers and drink water, and it's like a diet food. But now I just eat them at midnight because I feel like I shouldn't be eating a real meal at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, great, guys. I hope you all had a wonderful time with Cooking with Adesuwa today. I hope you enjoyed Gretchen Olivares. Did I say it right?
Olivares.
Got it. I don't have the twang. I'm sorry. I'm working on it, though.
So funny story as we go. There was one day when Greg was in the military, and I called up to his office to talk to him, and I said, can I talk to Captain Olivares? And the person who answered on the other line was like, I'm sorry, we don't have anyone here by that name. And all of a sudden I heard in the background, that's me, that's the way you actually say my name. She's right, go ahead and give me the phone. Because I said Olivares, and they were used to hearing, because we were in Albuquerque at the time, Olivares.
There you go.
So, because I said it right, they had no clue who I was talking about. But fortunately, he was smart enough to pick up on that and be like, nope, she's calling for me.
It's like when I go to the doctor's office and I watch them come out to say my name, and they're like, I can see them like looking at the paper and like looking up. They do about 3 glances. They do a look down, look up, look down, look up. And then they're trying to decide like which name to use, last name or first name. And then they're like, Miss Adesuwa. I'm like, that's me. But sometimes they get it right, and it's just impressive.
You know, whenever I have clients, I go, her name is Adesuwa, and you say Adesuwa, and they're like,
oh,
okay. So when you call, whenever I tell them who's, tell you about them and them about you, they're like, thank you so much.
You know who Ann used to write? It's like Odessa, Texas, with the A at the beginning and a W at the end. So.
Say Adesuwa.
Now you know me.
Adesuwa.
Well, I hope to see you all at our next amazing program, which is the 22nd. I really thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you make this game day chili. You've got lots of treats here ready to go. And we will see you guys soon.
Guns up.
Guns up. I'm not from here. I'm from Colorado State. Go Rams, I guess. I don't know. Go Paris.